Servus and hello. My name is Fireball313 and this is a new episode of Beyond the Game. Like you guys know, this channel is about retail games, and so I present some awesome items. But before that, I want to share my thoughts about Switch 2 games. Yes, exactly 4 weeks ago, I bought finally a Switch 2 with Donkey Kong Bonanza. I hope I pronounced this correctly, yes. And I have some comments about the standard packaging, what you can find in the store. And I don't talk about the keycards. I really just talk about the standard cartridges, what you have, and with the packaging. Okay, and before we open this, and then you guys know exactly what I mean, I want to show some comparison, you know, that you can see exactly what I mean. Yes, and for that, I take a standard PS5 game, and Sony chose in this case, of course, a blue color and blue-white color, so you can see immediately from far away already, aha, this is a PlayStation game and not an Xbox, because Xbox is green and Nintendo, of course, is red. Yes, so, and when you open the game, then you have mostly a transparent background, you know, with a bluish color, and sometimes, you know, the developer plays some images, sometimes it's just a white background. At least most of the games just look like that, and because of the blue color even, you can really see this image quite clear. Yeah, this is just normal. Look at this, okay, and just remember that. Okay, now I take a Switch 1 game, and the Switch color is mostly more or less red, like with the second part, and then you see immediately, aha, this is a Switch game and not PlayStation game something. But the rest of the packaging is just translucent, you know, no color at all. And when you open it, you can even see the images, what is in the background, more clear, because it's just transparent, you know, no blue, no green, no nothing. Okay, so this is the best quality what you have with the packaging if you compare it now like this, right? So, and now this is the standard packaging for the Switch 2, and everything is now red, and it's almost very dark red, and you can see this is the standard red of the Switch, and here is it even darker. So, and when I open it, it looks like this, you know. And now I really must ask the designers of Nintendo, what went wrong? I don't have a problem that the packaging is in red, but because of this strong color palette, or maybe just the transparency of the plastic, the image is not really clear. And yes, you can see it, but when you compare it, for example, with the PlayStation 5, yeah, hello, this is night and day. And if I compare it with the Switch 1 game, this is night and day also. So I must really say, Nintendo, please rethink your design about your color palette, you know, change maybe choose a different reddish coloring, you know, make it not so strong, because it's a real waste, because you have so many awesome images what you can put as a background, but it gets spoiled because of the red color. Wow, you know, it's when I opened it for the first time, I thought, wow, what the, you know, it's a real shame, because it's actually a nice image, you know, looks awesome. But when you place it just under the red color, everything is gone, you know. Wow, what kind of presentation is that? So please, Nintendo, if you listen to me, do something about this. I would be really happy, and I think I'm not the only one. Yeah, but now let's move on with the other games. With the first game, what I want to show, I have an interesting history, and that is Enclave HD, what came out on the PlayStation 5. But this is originally an Xbox exclusive title. This one came out in Europe around July in 2002, and 1 year later there was a port on the PC. And I remember there was a huge hype about this game because of the graphics, and you have a light and a dark campaign. So it got a lot of praises from the press. And I remember I played only the demo version on the PC. And I think last year when I bought my original Xbox, the original Enclave was on my list for must-have. But I never could find it anywhere. You know, it's really, really hard. Of course, I could order it online, but then where's the fun? You know, I like to explore video game stores all over the place. So this is way nicer. Yeah. So, and a couple of weeks ago, I just saw this one by coincidence in a video game store, and I didn't knew about that there was an HD release, and even through limited run, because mostly I always check daily limited run, and I never saw this actually in their catalog. You know, maybe I was blind, I don't know. Yeah, at least I bought this now, this HD version, and this is, compared with the original game, is this more or less a straight port, you know, with small little enhancements, if we can call it like that. Yeah, but before we dive into the retail experience, I want to tell you a little bit about what you can expect if you want to buy this game. This standard version costs just around 35 euro. I got it a little bit cheaper. I got it for, I think, 31 euro. If you want to have it in used condition, it's actually the same price, so it's not really expensive. And because it's a limited run game, you get some, at least a manual. Yeah. So, what is the game about? Let's say, you know what? I read the back of the cover. One game, two sides. Begin your campaign as a soldier of the light, defending Salenheim from forces of darkness and the horrible demon king Fatar. Change his side and complete an alternative campaign as a minion of the dark, tasted with infiltration and destroying the enclave you just sought to protect. 12 different classes and multiple weapon options create great replayability as you descend dungeons, complete missions, and vanquish your enemies. Yeah, and this more or less is a hack and slash game. It has not really RPG elements. You collect a lot of money, and with the money you can buy upgrades and new weapons. And soon, when we look at the menu, you see some details. Yeah. So the player, I think I told you guys already that the price. Yeah. By the way, there is an HD collector edition. It's way more expensive, and then you get, of course, the physical copy of the game. You get an Enclave HD collector edition box, a reversible poster, a 2-disc soundtrack with the original and expanded track list, a metal magnet, a full deck of playing cards, acrylic standee, and an HD sticker also. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a picture on the internet. But I was already happy with this one, and what I just need is the original game, you know, for the Xbox. Yeah. Here they claim even that you, of course, have no trophy support, the graphics are enhanced, and you have enhanced soundtrack. Yes, you can play it by 60 by 9 or just 4 by 3, and you can add some effects, let's say it like that. The game is quite smooth, runs with 60 frames per second, no problem at all. Yeah, and when you open it, it looks like just a standard PlayStation 5 game from limited run. And this is really, really important. This is not the cover of the original game. This is the cover, though. The Xbox game looks exactly like this. And what is already a nice touch, let me take this out, is here, this is the cover of the Dark campaign, and you have a reversible cover, and I turn it around, and then you have now the image of the Light campaign. Wait, I want to do it, and it looks like, oh wait, it's not really good. Wait, okay, and then it looks like this. I mean, the background is, besides this one image, is not really changed. But this is a nice touch, you know, and I just keep it like that. Yeah. But it is nice also that they include the original cover here on the menu. Yes, we get, of course, the game on a standard Blu-ray. Looks like this. Awesome print. You know, looks really cool, really scary. Hoo-hoo. Yeah, I love that. And then we have a menu. And what I really like about the manual is when I was reading it for the first time, I had this feeling that this manual was made around the year 2000, you know, because it's so lovely old school, let's say it like that. The problem is I can compare now the menu with the original game because I don't have the original game in my possession, you know. But I think some stuff is just from the original one. But if you guys know a difference, please, you can tell it to me. Yeah, so what we have is, of course, first the introduction of the storyline, you know. This is really just standard in a normal manual, you know, back then. And here we have it about the controls, you know, because you have many weapons, crossbow, bombs, grenades, staffers, and swords, hammer, axes, stuff like that. Sometimes you do some platforming, but this is not so much in this case. And here they explain the world of Enclave, the light side, and then the characters of light, like the knight, the huntress, the druid, the halfling, the engineer, and the wizard. And here it's about the dark side, you know. So you get already a good insight about the good side and the dark side, or the dark side. Yes. And of course, with every class comes different abilities. So, and then here they explain the mastering of the weapons. Here for the close combat, they have the swords, the axes, the hammers, the daggers, and of course the shields. Yeah, the game is more or less a little bit tactical, you know. Mostly it's really just you press a button and you go straight forward, heading to your enemy, and you just punch him with your sword or something. You can use the shield to block some maneuvers, but mostly it's not really necessary. And because the AI is really not up to date, I mean, they didn't change the routine of the AI. The AI is quite stupid in this case. Sometimes they just hang in a corner and then you can just kill them, you know. If you're really, really smart, just use some ranged weapons like the bow or the crossbow. Then it's more easier, you know. If you're far from a distance, you can just shoot the enemies and they don't do anything. They just stand there and they get killed, you know. Yeah, so if you, that is important to know, if you expect a brand new gaming experience, Enclave HD is not a game like that. It's very, very old school, and you can see it is from 2002 more or less, you know. Yes, and here they talk about the tactics. You know, for example, that you always look for an higher ground. You know, because you have a sniper function if you have the specific weapons for that. You know, and that is really nice. You know, and here they talk about the tactics in this case: seek and destroy, submarine, aid from beyond, blah 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 blah. For example, a lot of medikits you will find also sometimes they are hidden, so it's always important to explore your surroundings. You have a little bit freedom, but it's not really open world or something like that, you know. Yeah, and then at the end you have the credits, you know. I mean, it's not really spectacular, but most games doesn't have a menu at all. This is so lovely old school, and I like that, you know. So a really thumbs up from me. And Limited Run did everything perfect, you know. I don't, you know, the standard what they always keep with their normal games, they just keep this up, and I am happy with that, you know. So yeah, a nice game, of course. And I must really, of course, admit, back then the game was really eye candy, but in our modern times, I mean, the game is more than 20 years old. You can't expect graphical enhancements, you know, that it looks like, I don't know, a brand new PlayStation 5 game. No, it's not, no. And the gameplay, it's really, really old school, you know. But if you want to to have let's say, an historical adventure, you know, an old school one, then this game is maybe something for you. But hey, it's not Demon Soul or Dark Souls. That is not like that. The game is easier. Really, really easy, yeah. So yeah, but I am happy at least with the standard version, and yeah, so let's say this is a thumbs up from me. The next game what I would like to show, I bought together with Enclave HD, and I just saw the title of the game and I knew immediately I wanted to have, because I heard a lot about Assault Suit Leynos 2. That was a game what came out only in Japan, exclusive for the Sega Saturn. And and this is more or less a hidden gem, what got never released here in the West, you know. And I didn't knew that in this case City Connection, sorry, released this game here in Saturn Tribute. I think I never saw the news about that. So when I saw this, I knew immediately, oh hey, I need this game, you know. Especially it was quite cheap, you know, and I heard so many good stuff about that. And I played the predecessor on the Super Nintendo, and this one called Cybernator. That was in the European title, and this one got back then, I think, published by Konami. Yes. So first, some information about the original game. This game came out, original one, in 1997, and is more or less actually a mecha game. You know, you're sitting in a huge mech, and you must kill a lot of vehicles, tanks, and aircraft, stuff like that. You know, of course, there's a certain storyline, but this game is really, really hard. Yes, and I think there was even some French translation what you can have. You know, because this game is quite story heavy. You know, you have a lot of text, especially with the weapons, you know, because you have over 50 different weapons, and then you must know what you are adding to your mech because you have weight. There's many stuff. It's almost, let's say, almost a simulation, you know. Yeah, and what you do just in the game is, I mean, yes, you just make a progress in through the storyline, and then you are in the repair shop, you know, in the garage. Then you, if you have money, you buy new armor, you know, new weapons and stuff, and then you take the next mission, you know, and through the next mission you earn more money, you can buy new equipment, and then you make a progress through the storyline. Yes, and this game got released, let me think 1 second, I need my documents. Shit, I thought oh wait, yes, this game got released in April 2024, not just for the PlayStation 5, even for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the Nintendo Switch, and don't forget the PC. Yes, important, yeah. This is the retail version from City Connection, yes, and by Clear River Games, and so this is not limited run in. This is just, yeah, from City Connection, and you get some lovely goodies for a retail game, you know, because the standard retail stuff, what we are used are like no manual, no nothing, you know, so yeah. And I like the design actually, you know, really looks epic, and yeah. And when we turn it around, actually, you get some background information. This is, of course, in German because this is the German version. That really surprised me that this one is actually the English one and not German also. I think maybe this got never released in Germany because normally you have always the censorship stuff, you know. Every game must go through this, but Enclave HD never happened in this case. That's really strange. I don't know what is wrong about that. But yeah. And what is really important, they didn't enhance so much. What they actually just did is this is a straight port, you know, from the Saturn version, you know. You can change the background images, stuff like that. But this game is still 4:3, it's not 60:9. And yes, you can place some filters over it, but that's actually everything. It's just the raw game from 1997, you know. And it's, like I said already, it is really, really hard. In the first mission, I got really, my ass got already kicked, you know, like crazy. I didn't expect that. I mean, I knew that the game is hard, but not so hard. I thought, at least for the first couple of missions, you know, you get a smooth entrance, let's say it like that. No, this game is hardcore, you know, so yeah. So this is, let's say, a 2D Dark Souls, more or less, from 1997. Yeah, but let's look what we have inside. And that is really nice. We get an awesome manual and detailed menu. We look soon at that. And this is the standard design of the PlayStation 5 game. Looks nice. It's a little, I don't know if you guys can see that. There's actually an image here. It's a little bit hard to see, you know. I would choose a different image, what you can see a little bit better. That would be my idea, but yeah. And by the way, I can guys tell you even what I paid for the game. I paid 35 euro, yeah, and that is actually if you want to have it sealed, that is the price. If you want to have it in use condition, it costs the same amount of money also. And what is cool already, you get an alternative cover, and you can even see it through the blue plastic. If that would be a Switch 2 game, we would not see so much, you know, because I remember, you know, let's remember this. Pure horror. Whoa. Yeah, so let's throw this away. Oh, wait. Yeah. And I always love alternative covers. So let's check this out, how it looks when we turn it around. Now, wait, it's not right. No. I think even that looks nicer than this one, you know. But this is just my opinion. Okay, yeah, and the other way, I mean, the back looks completely the same. So, and you know, guys, what? I just keep it like that. So, yeah. And then let's look at the manual. And that is a quite big manual, and I don't have the original game. So I don't know if they used scans from the original manual. Maybe you guys, when you're watching this, maybe you have the original copy at home. I would like to know if there is a difference in the manual. At least this is a quite good manual. It has a lot of pages, yeah. And I like already the bitmap design on the left, you know. This is one of the carriers, and they carry then the mechas from place A to B, you know, and you can shoot them down if you want, you know, if you have the right weapons, yeah. And here's about the assault suit, the mechas, and what you use is mostly this one. I think it was it this or this? And you have different mechs, of course, you know, mechas, different sizes. And here it's about the storyline, you know. I love the design, you know. I love that you have this black middle part, you know, with the information, and then the white border around that, you know, this black and white. I like this, you know. It's very simple, very effective, and I think it looks really cool, you know, really cool. Yeah, so, and here we talk about, they talk about the characters, you know, what you, for example, you play Karl Kleiber. That is a really, really stupid name, you know. Yeah, and then you meet all the other peoples, you know, in your squad, stuff like that. And then, of course, you can customize your assault suit, you know, looks really, I mean, this looks really like, this looks for me like a scan, you know, from an old material. So maybe this is from the original manual, I don't know. So here, this is the heart, you know, with all the information of your weapons, the maximum loadout, your performance, and your energy level, and your shield, and all that stuff. That's quite important, you know. So if you are not a fan to dig into a material of something like that, then just leave it, because this game is already hard and you must know a lot of stuff, you know. Of course, the game explains this more or less, you know. Here they talk about the weapons. And this rendering looks like from 1997. Yeah, and so this is then the HUD, what you can see mostly, because you can switch weapons, you know, and then you have different attack types, and then you see the munition and all that stuff. The current weight is important also, yes. Yeah. And here's some more information if you want to buy new weapons, if you want to exchange that, you know, things like this. And here is information about the armor suit itself, you know. Actually, I don't want to go into too much detail in this case. And here you have just the playing screen, what you can see, and they explain all the HUDs elements. That's quite important, I think. And here with about the new equipment, and I like the retro art design. Looks funny. Yeah, I love pixel art. Really, I love pixel art. Yeah. So. And what is really funny is they talk even about the game over, what will happen, you know. I mean, of course, this is quite, I mean, everybody knows what will happen. Of course, there's a game over, you know. Yeah, and then we have small credits about Clear River games and Embrace games. But what is a real shame, they don't mention the original makers, unfortunately. Yeah, this is, I must say, really a really standard and good manual. Compared with Enclave HD, I like this a little bit more, but because of the paper quality and the design, I like this more. But it's I mean, Enclave is really good. Enclave HD, sorry, is really good. But I love this design a little bit more, you know, but this is my personal reference in this case. Yeah. Of course, you can download this game through the PlayStation Store, through Steam, or the, what is it, Nintendo? I don't know, what is the shop of Nintendo? Because I don't buy so much stuff from there. Yeah, or you can buy it just in the wild, in stores, through Amazon. And yeah, and if, because this is a hidden gem, you know, and then Japan only title, if you want to no, I have to say it different. Back then, the Saturn was a 2D powerhouse. Everybody said, if you want to see that in action, then this is a real good example for that. Yeah. What bugs me a little bit is, you know, I would like to have more enhancements. You know, it was a straight port, so you have 4:3 images, big borders around. You know, I mean, the gameplay is really smooth, you know, and you have some filters, but I would like to have it by 60:9. Then you have a bigger view, you know, and that is way nicer because the enemies come mostly from the left and right, and then you see stuff more clear, you know. Otherwise, it's a little bit cropped. Yeah, that is my own complaint. Yeah, so this game gets a thumbs up, yes. Together with Assault Suit, Leynos 2 and Enclave HD, I bought a third game, and this one got my attention just because of two reasons. First, I saw this, it was a brand new title, because I saw the paper sleeve, and that got me really interested. And besides that, I saw the price of the game, and that was brand new, €12. And then you get a limited edition. I never heard about Recompile at all, so this is more or less an indie game, and it's about hacking a computer, you know. And so I thought, hey, it looks nice. Maybe I will be surprised. Maybe this is an awesome title. Of course, I checked the internet, and people praised the graphics, but criticized the bland gameplay and the jumping mechanics, because this is more or less a platformer. It's a Metroid 3D title. Soon I want to talk about that a little bit more in detail. Yeah, so I thought, hey, for €12, you can do nothing wrong. Like I said, it's a limited edition. And yeah, and I thought, because on the back they claim it comes with a steelbook, I thought there would be a little bit more to this. And I got really surprised by that. Yeah, so Recompile is a game, actually a hacking game. You know, it's actually, yeah, like I said, a 3D Metroid, Metroidvania. You are a program and you hack a computer, and you have a hub, you know. From this hub, you move to different parts of the computer, and you do a lot of platforming. Sometimes you have some shooting mechanics also, but they are really, really clunky. This game is quite frustrating in so many ways because of this stupid jumping behavior. I think in none of other, I mean, you jump a lot, you move a lot. So from one platform to the next, and I died a lot, you know. Normally I'm a very secure player in this case. It's really hard for me, you know, when you jump from A to B, that you miss, you know, that you really miss the spot, you know, on the platform. But with this one, I was dying so often because of this strange behavior of your figure, you know. It's really, I never adapted to that, you know. So when you start this game in the beginning, it's really like it reminds me of Tron, you know, because of the graphic design, you know, very minimalistic with a lot of neon colors. And then you have this awesome atmosphere, what got created by the ambient soundtrack. The presentation is state of the art for an indie game, but when you start to play it, then you really feel that it's not an awesome title, you know. So yeah, so I give really the makers from Dear Villagers, sorry, you know, credits for the presentation and all that stuff. And what I must admit, what is a problem for me also, is the presentation of the storyline itself, because mostly the storyline, they explain the storyline through text, you know, and this is so stupid. I don't like this at all, you know. So I would like to have, I don't know, some videos where I can see, you know, how the storyline progress, stuff like that. But it you know, you just read boring text, you know, and it's maybe interesting for people who don't have a problem with that. If I want to read so much, then I will just read a book and not a video game, you know. I don't like this kind of presentation. Yes. So how to say, I can't recommend this game at all, you know. I mean, if you just want to admire it for their presentation, yeah, and you get it for 10 euro, just buy it, you know. So I just wanted to show, you know, the limited edition. And but actually it's not so much to show in this case. Yeah, at least this is the front. Oh, by the way, I checked on the internet, you know, the price weight, and normally you pay something like 20 euro for this one, you know, even it's sealed. Used, you get it for 12 euro. So I was lucky in the store, I got it sealed for 12. Yeah, lucky me. Yeah, so this is the front of the paper sleeve, and this is the back. Yeah, and here they show you already what you get, and this is a steelbook. By the way, the game is not so big on your hard disk. It's just 1.6 gigabytes, so it's not so much. But I must say, when you look at the screenshots, you really think, wow, awesome experience. Yeah, and it's really, really smooth, and the atmosphere is really state of the art for an indie title. That is awesome, really, really awesome. Yeah, so when you take away the paper sleeve, it's quite solid, it's quite thick, no complaints in this case. And then you have the steelbook, and it has this smooth surface. I like that, little glossy touch. The print, you feel it a little bit, you know. Here this is smooth and this is less smooth, you know, that you feel. The back, the side looks like this, and this is the back. Recompile, yeah, looks nice, you know. I love the art design, you know, very simple, very slick, not problem at all. And yeah, and the steel box is solid. When you open it, then you see the content, and that's it. And here, this is a good example. For example, wait, here, look. When we talk about presentation, and it doesn't have a steelbook in any kind of way, it's just standard. But this looks way nicer than this piece of shit. Okay. Yeah, so what you get is actually just the game and the health warranty, and it's just a piece of white paper. That's it. That's shit. Yeah, so, and then, of course, an awesome print, you know, on the Blu-ray. No complaints about this. And then you have good background, let's say it like that. Looks awesome. I mean, quality of the steel box from the inside is okay. It's not perfect, but okay. By the way, this is your character. That's quite important, you know. And then it looks like this. Yeah, and that's it actually, you know. That is the limited edition. I don't know what is so limited about that, but I was hoping for, yeah, a menu, especially it's an indie game, and indie gamers, I mean makers, you know, developers, put more love into their product. Yeah, so I expected from the retail perspective a little bit more, yeah, so I just got this. I mean, I will keep this in my collection. It's nice, but it's not really extraordinary and not really limited in any kind of way. Yeah, so is it a recommendation as a game? No. Is it a recommendation as a limited edition? No, not really also. But hey, how to say, I pay just 12 euro, and that is okay for this price. If you pay 20 euro, no, then it's a really, really a big no. And the best I always keep for last, and this one is Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remaster. I have a very interesting history when it's about this series. The first game came out on the PlayStation in 1999, I believe, and was made by Crystal Dynamics. And this game got really praised because of the presentation, the storyline, and the gameplay. And I saw, I remember video footage, and it was the setting I really didn't like. Later, there was a second part on the PlayStation 2. This one got released, wait, let me think. That was in 2001, got, of course, developed by Crystal Dynamics again, and continues the storyline of Raziel, you know, that's the main protagonist. And I remember I saw the test reviews, and I didn't like the presentation also. And sometimes I saw one, I mean, the first and the second part sometimes in store, even it was really cheap, but I never bought it because of the world of Legacy of Kain or so Reaver. That is not really my thing, you know. But my perspective changed through over the years. Now I feel a little bit sorry that I didn't use the chances back then to buy the game, you know. Was just by coincidence, then I saw on the internet that Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remaster got released in a physical form by Aspyr, and this one is here, the what is it? The collector's edition? Yeah, I think collector's edition, something like that. And what is really, really awesome, this one is just 50 euro. The original game, just a standard game, you know, cost 35, and you get a lot of value just for 50 euro. And I saw this in a video game store just by coincidence. I just wanted to leave the store, and then on the, you know, then you have the front door, and on the right side this one was standing alone on a table, and I just passed it. I looked at the cover, I thought, hey, really, there's already the retail version, you know, and I saw it and I grabbed it immediately, and hey, the price 50 euro is really, really okay for me in this case. Because yeah, you get a full treatment in this case. Aspyr are a group of programmers. They remastered Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. That was quite a good remaster. What one? Then the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. They remastered Star Wars Battlefront. They remastered later, and even Republic Commando. Yes, and I liked Republic Commando a lot. Actually, remaster was quite solid. And I saw already video footage about that. They remastered this game quite well. And what is really nice, just like with Halo, you can switch the original graphics or the enhanced graphics, you know, and that is really cool. There's enhanced soundtrack. Wait, I need my notes. I don't want to say any bullshit. Yes, and besides the special stuff what you get soon, but I want to show, you get a lot of bonus content what is on the Blu-ray, galleries, music player, lost levels what just got finished, you know, that you can play them. There's even a playable demo version of the E3 1999, I think, of 2001. I'm not sure about that. You know, you get outtakes, you get the scripts, you can see a lot of stuff, you know, what you never saw before, and this is so awesome. Yeah, but I played both of these games, and yeah, I'm still not a fan of the storyline and the presentation, but I'm a huge fan of the collector's edition. Yeah, this is so awesome, you know. Yeah, and I'm happy to talk about that. So what you get already for 50 euro, you know, this game got released in 2024. You can download it, of course, digitally. Then it costs something like 30 euro, but then you don't get all the awesome goodies here. Yeah. Brand new, it's 50 euro. Like I said, if you want to in a used condition, it costs the same. You know, it's quite funny in this case. So if you see it in the wild, go always for the brand new one, you know. Yes. So what I like already about the presentation is you have this big box here, you know, and you have here some imprints, you know, from the claws of Azrael, you know, and behind that you have already a cover. So what do you get is a 3D perspective. You see, this is so awesome. Awesome attention to detail. Yeah, and then of course you have the logo, and here on the side This one looks like this. And the back is like this. I bought this in Germany for the 25th anniversary. They celebrate this game. And what do you get actually? You get the physical version of Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver and Soul Reaver 2. You get a steelbook, an art book, and a soundtrack greatest hits. Yes. Here you have some screenshots. What I like also is that you can switch between the old graphical style, I mean back the old style from the PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 or the remastered. And that is nice to see the difference about the lighting, about the detail of your character of Raziel, because especially when you look, the first Soul Reaver is still a PlayStation 1 game. So the polygons are quite simple, you know, and when you switch forward and back, you can really see the difference, and that is really awesome to see. Yes, and actually the game is not so big. It's just 8 GB on your hard disk. Yes, and let's open this, and this is so awesome. So, and let's take everything out. And now I can, guys, show you. This is the background of the art book. And here now you can see my fingers. So this comes then, oh, wait, stupid. This goes like that, you know, so cool. Yes, awesome. The box is a little bit thin, I must say. You can see that. I would love to have it a little bit bigger, then it's more solid, if you know, guys know. So it's a little bit fragile, I must admit. Yeah, and so let's first look at the standard retail game. And that is the one what you can buy also in the store for just 30 euro. And I mean, I must really say, I'm not a fan of the design of the game itself, but I love the artwork, you know, looks really awesome. And this is Asriel and that is Kain, you know. Yeah, and unfortunately, what do you get just for the retail game in this case is just no alternative cover, unfortunately. This is a bummer, I think, you know, just white information, nothing, unfortunately. If you compare it with this presentation, yoo-hoo, you know, I hope you guys know what I mean. You know, this is already nicer, way nicer like this, you know. So it's a shame that they don't include a manual, you know. That would be really, really nice, especially because these games are more or less, because there are three years between them and 2 generations. It would be nice, you know, to add more information about the first game and the second game, you know, stuff like that. Just what you see normally in the manual. Yeah, then let's look at the steel box, and the steel box is really, really extraordinary because it has an awesome print on top. And this print you can really, really feel. And I hope you guys can see that. So you can feel already this outer ring here. You can feel the dagger, you know. You can feel the skull, you can feel this, everything you can feel. This is awesome. If you compare it with Recompile, you know, this is more quality, you know. And of course, these edges, you can feel with your fingernails also. This is awesome. I mean, more or less, it's the same material like with Recompile, but the print makes this more special. And when you turn it around, the background, the backside looks like this. And you can feel this also. And here, this one also, you know. So they really stamped this from one side, and this is cool. So, and when you open it, check out this presentation. Hoo-hoo! And this is Kain. Yes, and actually Kain, the funny thing is the first game was, wait, I don't want to say anything wrong. The first game, what came actually out was Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, and that was a game by Silicon Knights. What came out in 1996 was a PlayStation exclusive. I remember I played this one, and then you play Kain, and you're a vampire, and this game was quite violent back then for German standard, because you could suck the blood of the people, you know. You could bite them and then suck them out, you know. That was quite violent back then. It was a top-down perspective with a strange gameplay, but an awesome soundtrack, and the ambience with the screaming people in the background. That was that was horrifying. Yeah, but sorry. Yeah, so at least the Steelbox is really, really cool. And now, wait, let's put the game in it. And that looks nice, way nicer compared with this one. And then I would love to have, because you have already a holder here, a menu, you know, just a freaking menu with some pages. What a shame. Yeah, okay. But I like the quality of the Steelbook compared with Recompile is 2 times better, just with the prints, with everything, you know, even it's the same material, but they put more detail here in this. Oh, by the way, the side looks like this. Yeah, and then there is an soundtrack. And what is so, so awesome is you get it on a physical CD. Yes, music CD. You don't believe that. This is the front cover and this is the back. And what is awesome, it's split, you know. I like that. I really like that. It is unfortunately a paper sleeve, but I think because of the whole presentation, it really fits. You know, it really fits. I think a jewel case, just standard plastic, would not really fit with the rest of the physical stuff. That's at least my opinion. Yeah, and then you have here the soundtrack from the first game and the soundtrack from the second game. And here are the CDs. And it's a little bit stiff, a little bit hard to get them out. Here you have disc 1. 1 second. Come on, get out. You guys can see I'm really struggling. So, and here we have the prints of disc 1 and disc 2. So cool. Yeah, and I like the soundtrack. I like the soundtrack more than the actual game, I must admit, you know. Yeah. So, and then the real, this belongs here. And the real highlight now of this collector's edition is the freaking art book. And check this out. So many pages. We have, let me see, 105 pages, just art. And you guys know I'm a sucker for art books. And this looks already so cool. The art of Noskov. Yes, and we can look a little bit. And it says already, spoiler warning, this art book may contain spoilers. Ready at your own risk. Yes, and check out this painting. So cool. I love that. Yeah, and here you have the content, the remastered art of the games, and the original concept arts of the first Soul Reaver and the second Soul Reaver. Yeah. Oh, wait. And then here we have the main key art, and then here the alternate art, sorry, what you have on the CD. This is from the steel case. This is this one here. Awesome. Yeah. Really, really awesome. And here, Oskov. That looks so cool, you know. I would like to paint also like this. So awesome. Yeah, I know I'm a real sucker for art books, you know. I could watch them for hours and admire the details, the design, the creativity. It's, yeah. Back then, when I was a huge anime fan, I had a lot of art books also, you know, from movies, from Akira, for example, and Ghost in the Shell, stuff like that. And what is so cool, they have here comparison screenshots. This is, for example, original screenshot of the game back on the PlayStation 1, and then it's the remastered screenshot. Or here also. This is the original game and then the remastered game. Here also. This is from Soul Reaver 2. So this is PlayStation 2 graphic quality. And here you can see all the pixels, you know. And then if you compare this with each other, you see the difference. I hope you guys can see this through the lens of the camera. Yeah, and then here is then the original concept art of the first game. And here we have some clan symbols. Looks awesome. I don't know how to pronounce all of them, so I just leave that to you guys. And this is Raziel. And this is Cain. He looks already like a freaking boss. What is the word? Boss character, yes. So cool. And here you can see these are old sketches, you know, they scan everything just with I think a scanner, something like that. So it's not digital art, it was just art on paper. Then they digitalized this. So awesome. Ha. And then here it's about Soul Reaver 2, original concept arts, yes. So awesome. Ha. And these are sketches and early concepts. This reminds me a little bit of this Star Wars character, this general, with this bluish general. I don't remember his name. Oh, 1 second. Okay, we are back. Sorry, my camera was making funny stuff. So cool. I adore this kind of art. Yes, and this is Raziel also. On the side he looks a little bit thin, a little bit skinny. And here, if you look at the rendering, you can see this is PlayStation 2 quality. And I don't mean it in a bad way. It was just a standard back then, how you render stuff. The darker images are a little bit harder to see, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Yeah. So cool. And here you can see the rendering techniques without textures, with textures. So you can see all the polygons, you know, to create, you know, the surroundings, the environment, stuff like that. The Dark Forge. This looks like an old painting from the church. So cool. I don't know if you guys can see that, the polygons, you know, a little bit hard to see because of quite thin lines. The Light Forge, yes, I remember. So cool. I like to see always this, the same is when I buy a Blu-ray, a movie or something, I always look at the how they produce the movie, you know, from concept arts, all that stuff. I'm so interested in that, you know, this innovative process before you start filming or creating a game. First you must create the storyline, then the graphic fundament and all that stuff, you know. When you combine that, all this process to see, you know, it's awesome. And when you have the final product and first you play or you watch the product and then you look it through an art book and you see the whole process till the end when the game is finished, you know, so awesome. So yeah, sorry. And here's some more rendering pictures, yes, and these are renders also. And I think this is Akumi the Heartless, I believe. Yeah, and this rendering, you can really see this is standard of 2002, something like that, you know. That was back then state of the art. Of course, today a little bit outdated. I think this was the original cover of Soul Reaver 2. Yeah, so awesome. Yeah, and that's then the back image. And when you put everything back together, it looks like that. Wait, suck. Yeah. Yes, awesome. Collector's edition. No, only complaint what I have is no menu. But I love physical soundtrack CDs. You know, the artbook is really thick and material of all the content is really awesome. Yeah, I love the design. I'm not really a big fan of both of these games, but I'm really, really happy with this one. Yes. So, and that's the end of this video. If you guys like my content, give me a thumbs up or subscribe. See you next time, guys. And don't forget to support your local video game store. Servus.